hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Lions Den podcast, talking about everything Club Leon in English. Hello, everybody joining us via YouTube and X on Twitter. As always, feel free to jump into the conversation. Any comments that you drop, we will definitely share them on screen to keep the conversation going. We're here to talk about everything Club Leon, talking about what happened last weekend and looking ahead of this weekend as well, and a little bit in between with how the league is looking and how the table's looking as well. So thank you everybody for joining us. Carlos won't be able to join us today, but he'll be back next week. So tonight we'll have Javi and Louis. Gentlemen, how are we feeling post weekend game?
Louis, you were there. What do you feel?
Yeah, rough times for the team right now, obviously, in a vacuum. The team is in crisis. There's really no way to put it. We've lost three straight matches. Two of them, well, let's say, I'd say three halves of those were not particularly competitive. And three were very promising. It's a strange feeling because we're in the middle of this crisis. I can't remember the last time the team lost 3 games in a row in across any competitions. That's, dating back to the dark years between the Bicampeonato and the resurgence with Nacho Ambriz. There were obviously some pretty terrible seasons in there, and I'm sure there were many 3-game losing streaks in that span. But we're just not used to seeing that kind of performance from this team, even in these last 2 years where we haven't really gotten it going in Liga with any of the coaches that we've had. Yes, obviously we won the Conca Champions with Larcamón, but his league seasons really left a lot to be desired. We never really got where we wanted to go with him in Liga MX play, and we certainly never did, except for that very first season with Holland when we made it to the final. After that, with him, with Paiva, with Larcamón, we've never really gotten it going in league play. And yet, I don't remember a time across any of their tenures where we lost 3 straight league matches. This is territory I had hoped we would, just the way that the team has grown and the brand that it has turned itself into, building things like La Esmeralda, just making this a really, really stable organization. I had really hoped we would never see this team lose 3 straight league matches again. Maybe that was greedy of me. Maybe that was unrealistic of me. But I just thought I would never see that again. And be that as it may, here we are. I made a 3-game losing streak in league play. But at the same time, it's a strange feeling because this last game showed some very, very encouraging signs. Some encouraging signs of what Leon under Jorge Baba could potentially be. I thought the team played very, very well. Still struggled to finish, but obviously both goalkeepers were a factor in this game. Got to give a shout out both to Malagon and to stepping into a starter's role after many pleas from the fans and here on the podcast as well for Poncho Blanco getting a start and making his presence felt. It was an encouraging match for Club Leon. It was like, look, if we can do that, if we can play that way against the defending champs, maybe there's hope for this team yet. There's still a ton of jornadas to go. And, it's just unfortunate that it had to end the way it did. Classic VAR call going against an opponent of Club America. And I'm not going to make any conspiracy theories on here. That's not what I'm about. But it's just unfortunate that the way the game played out, the draw was fair. Obviously, football is not about fairness. It's just not that. But it's just unfortunate because I felt like we deserved more out of this last match that we played than we got. Now, the ones before that, that's a whole different story. But this last match that we really showed some promising signs against very, very, very strong competition. So it's just I'm in a kind of a weird place with it. Like, I feel like, okay, if we play like that against Atlas this weekend, we've got a good chance to go in there and get encouraged. I'm going in and out here. My internet's not the greatest today. But if we play that way this weekend against Atlas, we got a good chance to go in there and get a result. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Obviously it's another loss. In and of itself, a loss is never encouraging, but I think there's still some things there's definitely some positive takeaways from this match, as there haven't been in quite some time. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Javi, any thoughts?
I think, it's been a while. Even starting the first the first 5-6 games of a coach, it's probably one of the worst starts. Um, yeah, it has a feeling like it's por el funcionamiento before the game against America. I did feel kind of like we were in the Chavo Diaz era, but I don't know. I think I did see a couple of improvements. I think America throughout the game was a little better, but León tuvo mucha respuesta that to me both and plus both teams kind of did play entre semana. And I think that's another thing about this next game coming up that Atlas they play today against Pumas. And I'm not saying que para que estén más cansado contra León, maybe León, así nomás va a poder León. I'm not saying it like in that aspect, but definitely I feel like it's an advantage for León. And this is a part of the thing I was saying in the beginning of before the season started, which is that many other teams are going to play other tournaments. They're going to play La Conca Champions, right? So down the line, maybe León is going to start, ganando partidos a la mejor. I think right now we're just trying to see si el equipo tiene un mejor funcionamiento. I think que lo que hizo Baba con poner a Alfonso Blanco is interesting, very interesting, because I didn't think he was going to do anything like that. If anything, people were saying que siente mejor a los uruguayos que vinieron, but I think he's looking at the whole team as who really is in su mejor momento, who isn't. I feel like also that talks a lot about his character.
Yeah.
Que tiene mucho para no decir la palabra, and I think like with a coach like that, maybe we might see a change that we want to see in the team. I think one of the things I don't like about our fan base is I think they feel like they purposely came to sabotage the team, que vinieron para que les paguen, and like, now we're gonna mess up this team. No, they're trying to figure it out. It's gonna take time. I think I think Julio Saucedo was saying it como analizándolo. Creo que es normal. It's not an excuse. I think other técnicos have come y luego han hecho que juegue bien el León. But we'll see. We're trying to get una alineación ya más que nada titular. I think there's some players, that people try to say that they're the only ones that haven't. But I think it's a whole collective thing. But the game against America in itself, I will get it the controversy. I do think it was kind of like estaban escarbando mucho. Sí, I think it was. At the end of the day fue un penal, but I just think lo del VAR, lo que no me gusta es que I felt like for el momento en el que se hizo toda esa jugada controversial, I just feel like I don't know if it would have been the same if it was the other way around. If it was León, they would have just continued, because I think lo que me llamó la atención del audio, todo, fue que no one reclamó, no one even cared. Even Gato Ortiz like, no, it's cool, man. No one's even complaining about it. No, well, let's just keep on checking just in case. And eventually they found the toma que necesitaban, and it is what it is. But I just feel like León at this point can't really just start getting mad at los resultados. I mean, yes, it is. We should get mad at los resultados, but I think we're most worried about el funcionamiento, right? The back line, we're still worried about that. We're worried about these couple of things. We don't want to be la defensa más goleada. So I think this game against Atlas, again, this is a weird thing I keep talking about, pero todo también es psicológico. I always feel like you get one game where you play very well and then you actually win, and anímicamente your whole tournament can change. So I think they got to brush it off against America and then play un Atlas que va a estar medio cansado contra Pumas that plays today. I don't know. It's not an excuse that, but I feel like, I don't know. I keep saying, well, I'm gonna see the next game, but I said I'm not putting the panic, but like other people are, I guess. What I'm trying to say.
No, I mean, I think it's hard to, it's like a new coach, integración de nuevos jugadores. I think he's still trying to figure out what's the best 11, trying to figure out what, players and positions. Obviously, he's thrown the Canterano, the Cervantes in, which people can complain, and I understand, pero solo así tienen que aprender, tienen que aventarlos and, wish for the best. And it's a learning experience. And, and I think if anything, Sebastian Santos has proved that he's fighting for a chance and he should be getting more minutes or even starting. So, I think there's good moments, there's bad moments. Obviously, there's frustration, of course, 100%, because before the America, I'm like, what's the game plan of this game? What's the game plan against Toluca? What's the game plan against Pachuca? So with America, I was surprised, but not really, just because we always find a way to play really well against America. But I was a bit nervous, especially just after what happened before coming to this America game. So they played well and all. I think deja buenas sensaciones, and hopefully, exactly what you said, and we've talked about it here on the pod about sitting cota and playing blanco, and that's what happened. And like Javi said, o sea, no le tembló la mano, and he had to do what he had to do. And I think if anything, I think we were all pretty pleased. So that's pretty much kind of how I feel after the game. On the chat, we asked, how are we feeling, chat? Diego M said rough. He feels rough. Arturo Ruiz said, last time we lost 3 games in a row, Baiva was coaching. And then we lost against Baiva. And then says, this America game gave me some hope for the future. I was pretty happy that I saw Tres Canteranos versus America that did very well, in my opinion.
Sebastián Santos, man. I think I forget what game I said, if it was a long time ago, and I said, I feel like if you give this kid just opportunities, he's going to prove to you that he might be the solution to many of your problems. I think he can play many positions, and I think he's overall very hungry para demostrar que, hey, you're talking about Fidel Ambriz, we'll talk about me too, and that's for León fans. What more could we ask? About Cervantes is interesting too, because I do see people complaining, but they complain about anybody that plays in that position. I just think that he might be a little bit more defensive. I think Ivan Moreno ataca más, he's más espectacular, pero I think one of the things that we've always been complaining is that nos agarran mucho las espaldas por esas bandas. And he's supposed to be a reason to stop that. He's going to make mistakes. I'm not saying he's going to be perfect, but hey, he is un canterano. So like you said, you got to give him opportunities too,
Definitely. So just looking at that America game, the starting lineup was Blanco in goal. We had the youngster Cervantes, Barreiro, Adonis Frias, Osby, Guardado, Ambriz, Viñas, Elias, Mena, and Tldp, which I think from the news that we've seen, Guardado obviously came off injured, and I think he'll be out like 2 to 4 weeks? Yeah.
I think it was like a month.
I mean, I've seen as little as 2 matches he could. I've seen as little as 2 matches he could miss, and as late as Jornada 12 he could come back.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think it's kind of up in the air right now. We're gonna have to learn how to. We're gonna have to figure it out without him for the time being. It's a shame. I'm sure he would have liked to play. I'm sure he would have liked to play against Atlas, but the team they brought him up, obviously. But that's not a reality right now, unfortunately.
What do you guys think of Osby? Because I think Osby is this season. I think he's coming up. I mean, here on the pod, obviously we give our opinions, but we also try and give credit. And when we're wrong about a play, we will say it. And I think I've been really tough on him, but I think he has been, redeeming himself, especially this season. And I'm kind of pleased.
He's playing better, but there's just way too much of a sample size of him doing poorly for me to trust in him doing well. I need him to care. I need him to keep up the effort and be a difference maker through an entire season, because we haven't seen that from him ever. And he's been with this organization for 8 years. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's been that long. He's been here a long time. Like Barreiro, we gave him crap when he first got here for good reason.
Yeah.
He wasn't particularly good, but he figured it out in a much shorter period of time and has been solid ever since. If Osby can do the same thing, I mean, obviously, unfortunately, he's been with the club longer and just hasn't been a difference maker. So it's going to take more for me to believe in him. But I mean, I would love to be able to believe in him. It's just I'm not ready to do it quite yet. Yes, but he has been playing better. I'll give him that.
He has improved.
He has a little bit. Like, I even put the tweet out there that you were proud of that jugada. I saw it, bro. I saw the Fox Sports
honestly,
camera you and you were smiling. Saw you.
Honestly, from my seat in the stadium, I had no idea it was him. I had no idea it was him until they said so later.
You knew, but you were in denial. You saw it. Your denial won't let you.
When I went to the Winter Classic, NHL Winter Classic in Seattle, I bought a pair of binoculars. I think I might start taking him to the matches with me so I can see.
You should.
I know I should.
So I can see so I can see the far side of the pitch a little bit better from my seats.
Dude, Louis, I need. I mean, I have my glasses and everything, but I'm always asking you, hey, who's that fast guy? You're like, they already told me.
Yeah, I mean, on the near side of the field, when they're on the near side, it's the best view ever. But on the far side, sometimes it gets a little bit. I can't really.
blurry.
I mean, I can see the play.
Yeah.
I just can't tell easily who's who. So yeah, I had no idea that was him.
Marcelo Ruiz said Osby is the best defender on that line right now. I mean, I kind of agree, and I'm only saying because just like we can criticize Osby, I mean, Adonis and Barreiro have had their drop moments this season. You know what I mean? I mean, they're not new or anything like that. I mean, they've been with the team as well. So I'm just saying Osby se ha recuperado, and I am pleased with what I've seen so far this season. Obviously, I'm going to wait till the end of the season, Louis. But
sure.
Right now, I mean, we've always said, right, the CEO over Osby in that position. Well, that's happened. And tampoco se ha visto like the big difference as before when it was like, oh, if the CEO's a left back, we know what we're going to get. He's been playing the left back, and he hasn't been filling up that role either.
Well, he just hasn't been the same player since he came back from his last major injury. In general, no matter whether you play him as a center back or a left back, he's just not. Yeah, I'm in favor of Osby over him for the time being. He just doesn't have the pace anymore, and I'm not sure he's ever going to get it back.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. There was a time where even going to like CONCACAF final, I was still saying the CEO, but after that, and I don't even know how long ago the lesión that the CEO was, but you could tell he wasn't the same.
Yeah,
and it's sad because.
No, it was. I'm talking about the one after the CONCACAF final. I'm talking about last season.
Right. Okay.
He injured himself early last season and was out for most of the rest of it. And since then, I mean, he did come back, but he's just never been. You kind of felt like that injury for a player of his age and the pace that you require of him to be effective. You just don't know if you're ever going to get that back. I'd like to be wrong, but we'll see. But
you would think.
For now, begrudgingly, I admit that Osby's probably the better option at left back right now. I never would have said that before. That's probably the case now. And but I need to see a whole season of it from Osby. Yeah, Adonis and Barreiro have been with the team for a while too, but Osby's been with us for 8 years, Kari. 8 years, and most of that has been highly unproductive.
Yes, but I think we're just talking in the here and now in this season because there's been so much shuffling of players. Obviously, we have the new players, but we also have the youngster players. So just looking at it defensively, I mean, he is doing his job because obviously, like I said, we can give them so much when they were not. Pero at este punto, like I am not unhappy with his performance. If he has been involved if he's been involved in a situation where I'm like, oh my God, really sub him out. But no, o sea, a mí no me ha tocado sentir eso hasta ahorita, right? I mean, like you said, I think you said it well. I mean, at this time with, Osby is in that better position than Tecillo. Obviously, I think we've seen Villa a couple times last season, but still doesn't seem like he's filled out that position either. So, if anything, I mean, esa posición es de Osby.
I mean, you would think La Directiva, years of knowing that position might be one of the weakest point, would have had a refuerzo de extranjero a long time ago. But I don't know, man. Sometimes, because right now we have 3 center backs extranjeros, and it just seems like one is not playing. And I feel like Bellón could do a better job than maybe
he needs to be in there. No, if anything, he needs to play with 3 center backs, and one of them should be Bellón. To be honest,
I just feel like there's more urgency in other spots, and if we can't find them in una cantera. And look, left back, I think worldwide is una posición que se está acabando. So, but yeah, if you can't find it in your cantera, try to get a refuerzo for sure. That's what I would have done a long time ago. Yeah, but you brought Guerra, and I mean, like, it's cool, but I felt like you could use that refuerzo extranjero in un lateral.
Let's see. So obviously, like Javi had mentioned, Atlas plays tonight. This will be the Jornada 9 matchup against Puma. So let's just recap a little bit what happened in the weekend. Starting off on Friday, Mazatlán won against Atlas. 2-0, Xolos and Querétaro drawing 1-1. Necaxa and Toluca drawing as well 3-3.
I mean, Toluca and Necaxa.
Necaxa is still unbeaten. That's the funny part. They have not lost yet. They tied against you. Even tied against America. And then now they tie against Toluca. So that's the funny part. Necaxa sigue invicto. Chivas beating Juarez 2-1. Obviously, our loss against America 1-0. Cruz Azul beat San Luis 3-0. Santos losing to Tigres 3-0, which I attended, and that was Repeto's last game. And as you guys know, Nacho Ambriz is the new coach for Santos. So seeing him in green, a different type of green, it's very interesting.
I don't like it. Going off on a limb right there.
Monterrey beating Pachuca 3-2, and then Pumas beating Puebla 3-0. So that was pretty much last weekend. La Tabla in the first four, we have Monterrey.
They're tied, three-way tie.
Three-way tie. Monterrey, América, Tigres. En cuarto está Cruz Azul. Pachuca in fifth. Pumas in sixth. Chivas in seventh. Necaxa eighth. Toluca ninth. Damn, we are in position number 14.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like I'm looking at Santos is like on 15, and I'm like, do we really? I mean, Querétaro, Mazatlán, San Luis, Atlas. I mean, that's an important game against Atlas.
It is. I don't like being down there in the table.
No,
I mean, every game is vitally important until we can move back up a little bit in the standings. But obviously, the beautiful part about our league is 2 or 3 good matches can mean the difference between candidato indiscutible and sotanero olvidable. You know, it doesn't really take that much. It doesn't really take that much in our league to change your distinction. And seeing what I did from the team against one of the better teams in the league, you know, and Atlas, you know, obviously we're Levanta Muertos. But
no, we're not.
We are the Muertos.
Stop manifesting this.
Right now, no. Right now we are the Muertos, so that doesn't even count.
Oh, they're levantarnos. Yeah, we can't live. You know, you're right. Smart.
We're the ones who are due for a levantamiento. So yeah, they gotta I think and you know, as the way Atlas is playing, I just think go in and play like we did against America. We've got a full week break, no midweek matches, no doble jornadas, no nothing, a full week off. Obviously Guardado won't be there, but I think poco a poco Baba is finding his 11.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a good chance to go in there and do some damage. I really think we do. I mean, if we played anything close to what we did, because Atlas was playing against Pumas tonight. I expect Pumas to give them the business, and they're going to come in on tired legs, and I think we got a chance to go in there and do something. That got to hold out hope, because the buenas sensaciones que dejó el último partido are only they're only as good as what they do for us in the next match. Honestly, if we get another match of they lost, we lost last minute, but we played well again. That cred only gets you so far. That only goes so far before you're like, okay. If we
against America, because Atlas,
the buenas sensaciones only take you so far before they need to be results. Also, they're not turning into results. You're still just a bad team, and I don't think we are a bad team. I just think we're trying to find our footing, and I think slowly, maybe we are. Even that Pachuca match, that first half was excellent, and Pachuca they were super líderes. Like you said, Javi, not to play devil's advocate here, but Pachuca are now super líderes. They were obviously going up against a talented team. They were momentáneamente super líderes after that match, and we outplayed them for long stretches of that game. Obviously, it didn't work out in the end, but starting with that first half against Pachuca, and then obviously this whole game against America, maybe we're starting to find it. And I think Atlas can be kind of hit or miss. We've had some really, really great matches at Estadio Jalisco, and then we've also had some tragedies that we're not going to get into. But I think there's a good chance for a good solid performance this Sunday. We'll see, but I think that's what I'm thinking.
It is, man. Can't lose against Atlas. Come on, bro. Come on.
So
is that the one you're referring to? That 2001. 2010.
Yeah, we're not going to get into it.
And it was the same. It was the same arbitro from Saturday.
We're banned.
Was it? I don't remember.
Yeah, it was Ortiz, man. He should never be man. if I was Jesús Martinez Murguía and they'd say, oh, vas a jugar contra este equipo y el árbitro va a ser Ortiz, like, no. Something always suspicious happens when he's like against Leon, man.
After Atlas, we play Cruz Azul, San Luis, Xolos, Chivas.
Colo.
So that was just those next couple of games. I mean, against Atlas, okay, we're away. We're home the next two games. I think it'll be a
Yeah,
tough
that's
match
important.
against Cruz Azul. And then I guess we'll see what happens with San Luis at home, and then away at Xolos and Chivas. So interesting next couple of games and how that schedule looks.
Yeah, San Luis is no longer the joyita that they were last season.
Look,
Yeah.
I am not. I think we were always in this conversation though with San Luis, and you always say, "No, San Luis, we can beat them." Y siempre va a pasar lo mismo.
I am not changing my perspective on whether there are Coco or not based on the last two matches that we played against them. No, that's not how this works.
I'm not underestimating them, and I still think
they
play well.
Them, I'm not underestimating them, but we don't always struggle against them. They don't always play well against us. They played well against us the last two matches.
But the last two matches have been vital to what happens to Leon. It's not like just a regular jornada game.
I thought we were going to talk about like sad things that happened with Leon. I thought we were going to. You didn't want to talk about Atlas. Look, San Luis, yes, it's a team that has been playing well the last couple of seasons, and against León, como que se crecen. I always feel because León en esa área es el grande. I don't care, but they know it is true. So for them, they're just trying to be like, oh, we beat the team. I think that's what it is. Only se crecen, and especially in su casa against León. Maybe I think right now against Atlas, you're playing them afuera. Very important because you got two games at home, and I think against San Luis and Cruz Azul, but against San Luis especially, I think tienes que hacer que tu casa pese. That whole thing that maybe San Luis might be el Coco de León has to stop. No more manifesting these things. Take it off your subconscious mind, throw it away, and then just kind of like think about that León es grande, and then we're gonna win all these games. This is where I'm at.
They've had a couple of good matches against us after a long history of futility. I'm all about sample sizes. So I'll take the bigger one, just like I do with Osvi.
I get what you're saying, but it's always like when you're in the moment and you're just looking at the upcoming game and what happened, and then obviously you go based off of that. I'm just saying, it's not like other games where we're like, oh, this should be an easy game. Leon could win. No, it's not going to be an easy game.
I don't really believe in tendencies like that. I mean, America hadn't won in Leon in 10 years. And they just did,
Yeah.
So that just because San Luis beat us the last two times doesn't mean they're going to beat us again. It's just that's not how this works.
Yeah, especially
but you're saying, just because like before that, it means like it won't happen again. I'm like, well, anything can happen, but I'm just saying like. Es lo que ha pasado con San Luis.
I know. I don't understand the disproportionate worry for Atlético de San Luis. That is just something I'm not.
Okay, so watch. Yeah. If we lose, we'll see what you.
We're not gonna lose.
What happens? No, but I'm saying it's like, why isn't it fair enough to say that?
Yeah, losing against them would be awful.
Arturo said, and that might be a joyita, pero nos traen.
No, they don't, Arturo.
That's for sure.
No, they don't, Arturo. Look back more than 1 year. Jesus Christ.
Yes, but it doesn't matter what happened. Yeah, but it doesn't matter what happened at that point. We're talking about just recent times.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Losing against them would be bad.
Then what happened before then doesn't matter either, does it?
Whether we've lost against them before doesn't matter. I mean, losing against them now, we've had. All that matters is now.
Okay. Well, I'm done with that conversation too. So looking ahead, starting off on Friday, Querétaro versus Necaxa, Mazatlán versus Chivas, typical Viernes Botanero games. Saturday, San Luis versus Xolos, Juárez Puebla. That Juárez Puebla should be a Viernes Botanero game, but it's on Saturday at 5.
A lot of weird games.
Yeah, but then Pachuca América would be good Saturday. And then at night, the last game of the Saturday, Cruz Azul and Tigres, which should be good as well. And then 3 games on Sunday, ours versus Atlas, Pumas versus Santos, and then a late night game, Central Monterrey versus Toluca. Which those Sunday games look pretty good. I think better than the Saturday ones.
So wait, Pumas is playing Sunday. Is it 6:00 Mexico City time?
Yeah.
Interesting. They're changing their whole thing.
They're changing. Yeah, they're not playing as much at 12 anymore. They're switching it up, which I think is good.
Good for their players. I mean, I know
they probably get more views too.
Yeah, I mean, true. I mean, the dumbest thing I ever heard was like, oh yeah, it's because our players have an advantage. Like, what if the player that just came to your team, does he have an advantage? No, he's probably gonna be like, dude, why are we playing at this time? You know, and I think it is a hard time. Same thing with Toluca. They would always say that, pues juegan a este tiempo, con esa altura. It'd be hard for your opponent, an advantage. But what if at some point some of the players in your own team are probably gonna be like, I don't like this advantage. Let's just play when it's comfortable for both. Like, why can we win it equal? I mean, I get it, but you're right. The whole rate, if we're trying to make, probably like you said, more people are going to watch the game at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, yeah.
People are probably going to church or doing other things. I don't know.
I mean, I think
the TV thing, yeah. The TV thing is probably the main reason, but
yeah, right.
I mean, you like to think that no, since you're accustomed to playing at that time, you have a competitive advantage over your opponents. But I just don't think. I'm sure someone analyzed it, and over time, it wasn't working out that way for them. I'm thinking,
right? They have been champions how long?
like Leon, Leon beat Pumas at 12 noon on Sundays a bunch of times over the last few years.
Yeah,
right.
It wasn't an advantage. It wasn't an advantage for them after a while.
I think I definitely think of it. If your team is not the one playing against Pumas at noon, and you have no other plans, then you're watching the game. Otherwise, I think if at 6 o'clock, it's more of especially back-to-back games, 4, 6, and 8, where you're bound to watch more. Arturo Ruiz said Liga MX has a horrible schedule. I'd be sleeping like 3 hours every time they play during the week.
Yeah, I think when it came to like Sunday games back in the day, it was more of a traditional kind of a thing where, people were barely like the whole thing playing at 2 or whatever, or 12, whatever. It was because it was Sunday. It was like the day you're going to church and you're out. And then, because I know León for a long time, that was the situation. And Carlos Reynoso broke it down like that. He broke it down like, oh, León es que era un evento, era parte de la cultura de la gente de los Sundays. People very Catholic, go to church, and then afterwards go see your team play, right? So it was like that. But Puma started talking about that. No, we do it because of advantage. I'm like, okay, like that still doesn't make sense to me, because what if a player just got to your team? He's gonna be struggling like the other players playing that are going to visit. He's like, I don't have an advantage over here, man. I'm barely trying to get acostumbrado a la altura de Mexico. So yeah, I never understood that.
For sure. Okay. So I guess quickly, just I could talk about obviously. Well, I'll be watching the Atlas Pumas game and see what that looks like. But what are we?
Actually, I'll probably be watching. I'll probably be watching
Real Estelí eliminating America.
Yeah.
Real Estelí eliminate America. Me too.
I'll watch the other one. But no, just to talk about
the homework for us. We'll do the bullying on the America one. But you do the homework. You figure out how Atlas is playing.
Well, I guess just talk about. I mean, obviously, Baba le ha estado moviendo mucho, but are we thinking of any possible players that we will see from the start? Obviously, we won't have a Guardado, so.
Because that's a good question because of the Guardado.
I mean, if we're stuck with Jefecito for the rest of the season, we're gonna struggle.
We're gonna struggle so much. We're gonna struggle much.
We can only imagine, but that's why the whole Guardado thing, like even if he does come back, how long till he's 100% and ready to go? It's gonna be for sure. Right now, his homework is to see what is my best onset right now, and try to make that.
I mean, we basically have to hope that that guys especially guys like Napoli, are going to show us more than they have so far.
That's another thing.
My question is Cervantes going to start again? Is the right back youngster going to start again? Because if so, this would be his third game starting. I mean, Avion, he's been very versatile, so maybe you can slot him in the midfield or something.
Yeah, he changes him up a bit, Avion. Ivan Moreno doesn't seem to be getting anything.
Not even Moreno or Plátano. It seems like they're getting
Platano's
very
not
few
getting anything.
minutes.
But
So
who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? You would think that with Viñas, I mean, I don't know what the story is now, but I know it's still delicate su hombro, and any jugada you could probably lesionarlo. But you would think because of that, you would try to give him healthy minutes too, like not really que se aguante los 90. But who knows? Viñas
well,
es
the
un
thing
todo.
is, like with the situations that's something we get ourselves in. It's like, do we should keep Toro because we know that more than likely he will score versus if you take him off. And I've liked Platano. Obviously, I just don't think maybe he's in the best eyes of Baba. But I mean, I think he has pretty good players. I think it's just finding where they fit best. And like you said, Ivan, I think he could take a lot from Ivan.
Yeah.
If he wants to like sit Cervantes, put Ivan there and put Avion in front of him. But obviously, we know that the Mena and the Ivan duo has worked properly. So then maybe at that point you can
Yes,
throw
yes.
Mena on the other side. So it's just, I don't know, it's just a matter of movements. But the question will be, will Blanco start again?
Oh, that
I
is a
don't
good
see how
question,
he can't. I don't see how he doesn't. I absolutely
right?
think he will.
I agree. I
Louis
think
said
so
something
too.
interesting. He said that esa tajada is true. Cota wouldn't have gotten to that one. La tajada, I think in
There
el
were a
primer
few. There were a few that current Cota would not have
piece
made.
occurring Cota wouldn't have made. And I really
Yeah.
kind of just I had to really analyze that and be like really honest with myself. And like one of the things I don't like about sometimes the fandom is like, you don't have to put someone up and put someone down to put someone up. You could just say this guy's in the better momento, and Cota y Thanos tiene su mejor momento, and I think it's better for Leon que juegue. But the whole thing that he's washed is I think this is a good thing though. I think it should always be like this, a healthy competition in which you should always be on edge of your spot might be taken. You can't ever feel like this is mine, no matter how much experience I have. I think it's healthy to have because I know Cota's probably man. I know if this guy messes up or whatever, and it's my opportunity, then I'm gonna do my best, and that's what we want from our players. So I do agree with Louis. I don't see how he doesn't start. He did an incredible job, an incredible job.
I mean, big shout out to him for. I mean, it just goes to show one of the most important factors of professionalism is just staying ready. So the
Yeah,
guy's a consummate pro, and to Cota's credit,
he is.
he's
He's
lost
a
his
pro.
spot because he hasn't kept himself ready,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and Blanco has. That's
yeah.
pretty much it,
And it's interesting because the whole Blanco thing is like he's always been a substitute from someone. He's been so close to being the dude for the team, and then someone else with more experience. And it's like, when is he gonna get his big break? So that's how I see it. Like, then this guy's trying to get his finally. He's like, I don't know how old he is, but he's to kind of see him like know like, hey, it's now or never. I root for people like that. I do. I really do. I root for people like that. I want you to succeed because he's a professional, like you said. Those players. Think about it. They're not titulares. Being Cota's backup, you're probably thinking you're never gonna play. Yet you have to always be in buen físico y total. So when he plays like he did against America, man, he could. And now imagine if he gets more minutes and more confianza. That's what I look at. If I was a coach, that's the things that I look at. Like, all right, see, parece que está en mejor momento, su mente está más enchupada, and I think, yeah, he should be playing against Atlas.
So I just looked up his age. He's 36.
Exactly. So I'm saying it's now or
Um,
never.
as Arturo Ruiz said, I don't see Blanco going for that long, though. There's a reason why he's never been a starter. He's almost 40. 36. So 4 years difference, Arturo. 4 years.
Yeah, bro. For the ones that are under, I'm 30 something, bro. I'm not gonna say how 31. I already said 31.
No, I think he starts as well. Josue Espinosa on the
30.
chat said, "How about the academy player Santos? We are rooting for him. I need to see more
Yeah,
Sebastian Santos, and if anything, he showed up. He showed up,
yeah.
le echó garra, and quiere. He wants a starting role. So I would love to see
With
Santos.
Santos, with me in the beginning, I remember I was complaining because people were complaining about who they weren't seeing, Belon, and I said right away, no man, Santos, he's not even in the first team. And I was
Yeah.
very, very disappointed because I thought when with the Larcamón era and hasta que se le iba el Mundial, I'm like, yes, bro, 'cause that's exactly the vision that I see of him. I think he's a player that you got to keep putting him. I think he's an incredible player. And that's the thing. Like, I saw him a long time ago. Hizo una jugada And I'm like, I saw everything I need to see, porque psychologically, tiene el hambre de querer ser visto, querer ser alguien, querer poner su nombre en la historia de León, es leonés. I know he feels the same way that some of us feel, and I think he's looked at Fidel Ambriz, and he's looking at his possibilities to be the next big thing, and I think he wants that, and I think it's unfair that when Baba came, like, como que estaba borrado, and I was kind of disappointed. So when people were saying fuera Baba, I was like, well, yeah, if you can't see that Santos and Belon and his other players are players that are going to save your butt, then we shouldn't be there. And then he put him there, and yeah. So I think I'm pretty happy about the situation. I just hope it goes for other players like Belon. I think we all kind of feel the same way about Belon. And yeah, and Platanito too. But again, maybe it has to do with momentos. Quien está en buen momento. We'll see. But Santos, man, he es un crack. Es un crack, and I can't say nothing more good about him. I gotta see more, but I think he could be the solution to many problems that Leon has. He can play, I think, muchos funcionamientos, and he's a bright player, and that's the most important muscle you need, your mind.
Arturo said, like, what's wrong with Ivan Moreno? And I see people saying he's in bad form, but he's never going to pick up. He doesn't play. I always, I think it's interesting because you go from a player that started like every single game last season under Larcamón, and obviously he was injured, but then kind of a bit borrado. Like, I really wonder, I guess, what goes on in training. Does he not, like, is it just like a tactic? I mean, I really want to know, like, has there been any difference into seeing why maybe Ivan's not getting that starting position as before? Jose Espinosa said, speaking of goalkeepers, I see many similarities. Yabrook backup sat down Milton Hernandez at the same time that we got a 5th World Cup player. Blanco sits down Cota with Guardado arriving. Javi, any?
No, I'm not gonna get into the zeitgeist of what's happening in that situation. But it is interesting. I'm all for coincidence. I'm all for, to say 2024. It's gonna be like 2020. The Chief 49ers. It's all gonna be the same. Look, man, it's just what it is. I feel like Blanco is a player that just wants to have his shot, man. Think about you being a player and being the invisible man and not being in any photos. It's being the second portero, third portero, and I think he knows that he wants to. And if he doesn't, then he should. But every player should be thinking like that. You got to try to immortalize yourself, and I think he knows that it's time or never. And what better way than right now? Leon needs him. That's the truth. I mean, you could feel how you want about Cota, but Leon needs un portero seguro. En los primeros 5 minutos del partido contra América, hubo esa jugada cuando agarró el balón, and I'm like, you know what? I feel very secure with this guy. I do. I feel secure. I feel like, he's going to do his best, but, I don't think I have that same feeling with Cota in the last couple of games, last couple of months going to last year.
Jose Espinosa also said, and Santos was not a bad sub. I imagine him, Platanito, and Ivan Moreno setting up maravillas.
There you go. See, man, we think alike, bro.
Okay, let's go ahead and go to prediction time so we can get out of here and watch the next games. So everybody in the chat, drop your predictions for Leon versus Atlas, and we'll go to prediction time.
Prediction time!
Jose said it's not bad to have a old goalkeeper. Pumas benefit from Sergio Bernal. Sergio Bernal,
man. He was like goalkeeper till he was 50. I remember, man. He was there from 2004, and I was like 12 when that happened. Yeah, he was there. He was there for a long time. Wasn't he? I need to check that.
I see where he's at now.
I feel really old after you said that.
So prediction time. Louis, will you be in attendance?
I will. This will be a quick trip, though. It's a 4 p.m. start, and I do have work on Monday, so I'm just gonna drive in for the match and drive straight back.
How long is it?
3.5 hours.
Oh, it's not bad.
Guadalajara?
Yeah, if you take the toll roads, it's about
and
3.5 hours.
If Jalisco is closer than El Akron, right? from León?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, marginally, but yes.
Okay. So I've never been to Jalisco. I have been to Akron, and I didn't like the end when we had to kind of leave. It just felt like you're stuck in there.
Yeah.
Tldp said, Louis works? Question JK. Because
Yeah.
you're everywhere.
Pero
That's
viajero,
why.
bro. That's his job. That's
Yeah,
his
well,
main job. Number one.
get a job with flexibility, schedule flexibility. That's my advice to everyone in the world.
You know what's
Louis, give us
funny,
your
Louis?
prediction.
Real quick, Louis. You know what's funny?
I'll go with I mean, you know what? Akin to not the last time we played there, but not the time before either. One time we went there right after we had this was in 2021. We had flamed out of CCL against Toronto FC, and everybody was down on the team. And our next match was like, ugh. After all that, we got to go to the Estadio Jalisco and play Atlas, and we got a 3-1 win, a doblete de Gigliotti, and I think and a goal by Osvi, a screamer there at the end to put that one away. One of his rare good moments prior to this season in the history of Club León. So yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb. I think this is gonna be a breakout performance. I think Viñas and Diente are both gonna get on the board, and I don't know, a mystery goal scorer will get the third, but it's gonna be another 3-1.
Yeah.
3-1. Let's go to the chat. Ruiz said 2-0 León. Javi.
Yeah. Look, I'm very worried about los goles que nos han anotado, and I just don't want to get scored. I know, like, it's gonna be hard to say this, but we need a clean sheet, man. I'm tired of just getting scored on. So I just to feel very, very satisfied about everything, you know. I think León's gonna win 0-2.
Okay, you're also going with the same scoreboard. Diego M on the chat said 2-1 León, goles from Mena and Diente. And I'm also going to go with Diego M and say I think 2-1. I think if we win away, it will definitely be good for the team and coming back home, as we have a couple of matches after that at home. So I'm saying 2-1 León, and we all would be very happy with that. So, okay, guys, it's 8:57. Let's go ahead and go so we can catch the other game. So, thank you everybody in the chat. Diego M, Arturo Ruiz, Jose Espinosa. Thank you so much for stopping by and chatting with us about everything Club León. As always, thank you guys. Anybody else that listening via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. And we'll be back next week to recap and see what happens and how León is standing at that time. So fun times. This is what it's all about. So thank you guys so much. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you next week.
Arriba la fiera.
Arriba la fiera.
Que...